Holy shit. Dork Magazine gave this a 5 out of 5. Really? Huh. I'm sure I can trust the unbiased opinion of a magazine that literally had them on the cover last month. Oh boy, what's up everyone? John from ARTV. It's time for a review of the debut album by the UK alternative band Pale Waves. Alternative, indie pop, goth pop, several different categories. The album is titled My Mind Makes Noises. For some, the debut album by Pale Waves was one of the most anticipated records of the year. They had heard promises of a 1975 endorsed dirty hit record signed guitar-driven music band that were bringing something back and could cross over to the mainstream. If only they had anything, literally just one slice of originality, but they don't. Aside from the weird rollout strategies, I was genuinely curious to see what Heather and the rest of her bandmates could come up with. Could Pale Waves prevail and actually captivate and dazzle with synth pop meets alternative rock and goth or somewhere in between? And the answer is just flat out no. No, they do not do that. Instead, they harp on literally the same notes, the same chords, the same ideas for 50 unbearable minutes. And my God, I understand to some that this could sound like driving music, but I could literally listen to anything else. I don't want to fall asleep at the wheel. If we crack everything down to just the bare bones, what is the real problem with this record? It all starts with the sound. The sound of this record being indicative of that of the 1975. It feels like they are borrowing so heavily from that band in particular. Their label mates, Matthew Healy, producing for the band, writing with them, directing music videos. It just seems like his touch and their love of the 1975 got in the way of them making any creative strides here. The guitars feel flat and uninspired, reminiscent of the 80s, of the 1975 and other contemporaries. And the rest of the sound, I mean, the drums are so standard and almost muted, and the bass is just flat out uninteresting. It seems like I'm listening to covers of somebody else, even though these actually are original songs, in some ways at least. The lyrical content, like I said, it just sounds so weird to me as I listen to these songs and I hear the vocal patterns from Heather, and it just seems like she's doing the same thing every single chorus. I mean, there are different variations of it, but listen to the two big singles from this release, Television Romance and There's a Honey. And if you're telling me that you don't hear the similarities, you're insane. I give you my money, but I don't know if I wanna. Oh, baby, no, you and I don't got it. It's just such a slap in the face to listen to an album that expects me to put aside anything that I might have heard before and accept this as an original creation, when in reality, like I said before, there are not creative sparks here. There's nothing flying on this record. It's just a love for maybe The Cure, the 1975, and other acts, and it's all packaged up as something neat and cool because, oh, we've got interesting makeup and we've got a nice aesthetic, so like us and listen to us now. No thank you. There are moments of clarity, there are traces of good ideas scattered throughout this track list, which is so frustrating for me because I want to go to those and I want to like them more, because tracks like Drive, you would think it would be right up my alley, or even Red with that really cool guitar solo that does come through on that one. But still, the ideas and the lyrical content, the way that they hit, it just feels so safe, so generalized. It's so like it's been focus tested to groups everywhere, and it's like the least offensive thing possible. Not in the sense that they're not saying anything at all, but more so in the fact that it's just so cleaned up and overly done, and by the time there was any personality that might have made it onto the track, it just gets stripped away. And like I said, I love synth pop, I love alternative, even some goth pop. Very cool stuff the majority of the time, but here, these songs come up so short, it's like running a marathon, training for months, and just walking one step. Ooh, I'm out of breath after listening to that Pale Waves record. Snap out of it, John. Get back to the review. I'm gonna keep saying this because they keep sounding like them, but Noises sound straight up like the 1975. The intro, my mind makes noises, and the way that the instrumental is lingering with a little bit of a reverb-heavy guitar and also a synthesizer kicking in the background, it just sounds like we're about to go into Robbers. I find myself rolling my eyes and having such a hard time caring about some of the more serious tracks on the album that I'm sure probably have some delicate subject matter that it's just going right by me, but the tracks don't do their job to grip you, to reel you in, and make you focus on those things, like When Did I Lose It All, or even Kiss, which is a more fun song, I suppose, or the track that comes right after it, Black. It seems like these tracks just flow together so well that you could probably convince me that this was just one entire long song that was going for 50 minutes, droning on in the background and sucking away my time. Pale Waves definitely come up short, to say the least, on their debut album. I remember the first time that I was ever exposed to this band, and I thought to myself, okay, a new band from the UK, a new alternative group, cool, sign me up, please. But the more I played singles like There's a Honey, Television Romance, I started to see all of the comparisons that could be drawn, and all of the similarities that were there, and the more songs that they released, the more I started to hear this as a nuisance, as a problem, and I think that you, the listener, deserve better. I know I do. I am not going to be wasting any more of my time on this project. It's honestly one of the most uninspired, uninteresting albums that I have heard thus far in 2018. It's frankly a little bit insulting, and for me personally, I cannot rate this any higher than a 1.5 out of 5. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. This is all just my opinion, so let me know about yours tastefully, respectfully down below. Be sure to hit that like button while you're here to let me know that you enjoyed the review, and subscribe to the channel if you're new in town. Please hit the top link in the description down below if you're able to support me on Patreon, or this handy dandy annotation in the corner of your screen. If you want to see my thoughts on the Pale Waves EP, then tap right over here, or tap here for another recent video I made on the channel. All of my social media accounts can be found linked in the description down below, and other than that, I'll see you soon for more right here on ARTV.